What's going on, everybody, and welcome to Vinny's Corner here on another week at the We Like Sports Network with my co-host, Cove. What's up, Cove? How you doing, brother?
Pretty good.
All right. We're going to cut for a quick intro here, folks, and then we'll get ourselves started.
Purdue as Mitchell looks for an answer.
Ooh, pure, nothing but net.
Garland to the basket, stole the inbound pass. He lays it in.
Basketball down there.
Very high percentage shot for him from that spot. Merrill for three. Tristan Thompson on the floor. Diaz, three, that's short. Hard rebound, ricochets out to Merrill for three again.
For the We Like Sports Show, tune in and see the latest the crew has to say regarding the latest sports topics nationally and locally. Make sure to check out our website as well, WeLikeSportsPC.com. Subscribe on all platforms, including podcast platforms, YouTube, TikTok, and much more. And be sure to follow us on X at We Like Sports PC.
Started with Anderson and Ramirez.
He said, let's go, right? Yeah, I'm sure he wants the game to start, but they won't let it. And rightfully so.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back. So looks like we got a lot of stuff to kind of discuss today. We're going to jump right in and just start with the NFL because we had some pretty big news today. You know, we started out the morning finding out that Rob Saleh was canned for the Jets. His record so far as a Jets head coach was 20-36. You know, what do you think about that, Cove? Right move, wrong move, and does it have to do with A-Rod?
I mean, I wouldn't really put it on A-Rod. I really wouldn't. I mean, if you can't run your offense the way in a winning scenario, no matter what quarterback you got, you're just not fit for the job.
Okay, I can agree with that. So for me, I think it's a combination of things. I do believe that I believe that Aaron Rodgers helped to kind of solidify this guy losing the locker room.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because for some reason people just still really believe in Aaron Rodgers. I do not. I am not one of those guys. Now, that being said, you know, I've even heard stuff today online from other people that we both know that it was because he's Lebanese. I don't buy that for a second. His record speaks for itself. I mean, he's just a mediocre coach. You know, he's below 500, been below 500, consistently below 500. And the Jets, you know, they expect more. They didn't go out and get Aaron Rodgers, Garrett Wilson, Frank Lazard. They didn't put together what they see as this offense being like a stud offense, you know, to go out and just drop the ball and lose it. But
no. Every coach gets let go when you have a below 500 record. Every coach.
I agree. And so, you know, for me, that one was just something that's coming. I believe everybody knew it was going to happen sooner than later. You know, so I'm not surprised by it. Really, for me, you know, what was that? Oh, something with the mic. Sorry about that. It sounded a little crazy for a second there. But for me, you know, it's just a part of football. If you're not up to par, you know, you're going to lose your job. And that's just the reality of the game. You know, and so just kind of continuing on with the NFL, this week, we still have two teams remaining that are now 5-0, right? The Vikings.
Yeah.
And the Kansas City Chiefs. What are your thoughts?
Well,
let's start with the Vikings.
And the Vikings, I think, you know, it's Sam Darnold's team. He's proved veteran status matters, and it's the right system for him. So that's why it's working. And his defense is The morale is up, so everybody's playing well. Everybody's like, "Oh, the Vikings, this is lucky. This is lucky." And but it's happened before. They were 8-8 one year when they started like 4-0 or 5-0 or something like that. And yeah, they went 8-8. So I mean, just to say just because they're 5-0 doesn't mean it's not going to be the Vikings of past. That they're not going to be an 8-8 team. It can happen. I just think they have a really light schedule too. And you weren't expecting one of the games you weren't expecting was the 49ers just dropped the ball. So this could be a 4-1 team. It just the 49ers dropped the ball.
Okay, I agree. I'm pretty excited to watch them. I don't know that right now. I'm not sure what happens. I'll be honest. Like if they were to play the Chiefs today, I don't know what that looks like. I think the Chiefs are, pretty dominant, but really like okay, so like for me, and I have ESPN's new power rankings up here in front of me. I like them. I'm in agreement with what I see here. So they got the Kansas City Chiefs at number 1. They have the Minnesota Vikings at number 2. And then the Houston Texans at number 3, the Detroit Lions at 4, and then rounding out the top 5 is the Baltimore Ravens. I agree with that. A lot of people are saying the Ravens are the best team in the league. I don't agree with that. If you're the best team in the league, you don't have a 3-2 record, period. You don't.
They could be 2-3 since he didn't fumble that field goal in overtime.
Exactly. And so for me, I can't say that they're the best team because they just had to gut it out against the Bengals, and the Bengals said them, Joe Burrow, the quarterback, the leader of that team, said himself, they are not a championship caliber team after that loss this week. Okay. So the team themselves is owning up to that, not being at that level, but they still took you to task and made you have to go for everything. So I agree with that. But, back to the Vikings, I think you kind of said it best. Sam Darnold in this system, it's just a great place for him. And I think that they've actually taken a little page out of the Chiefs book, right? So if you pay attention to, Pat Mahomes is going to sling a couple of passes every game, but Pat Mahomes also throws a lot of short, quick plays, right? Yeah. He gets the ball out of his hands fast. And that same formula, which is a great one, has worked great for Sam Darnold so far. And being a veteran QB like he is, like you said, he's seen the worst side of everything already. I think that he just knows at this point what he does and does not need to do. So having a quick drop, a quick release, it's really, it's turned them into a real contender. I don't think we can call them frauds or anything else at this point. They've gutted it out against anyone they had to, and they just keep doing it. So I like them a lot. I'm excited to see what else they do this season. Now, going right along to the Chiefs, our other 5-0 team, the number 1 team according to power rankings across the board. How do you feel about these guys?
These are the Chiefs that I expected to happen. Now you'll get every Chief hater to be like, the refs have made the Chiefs 5-0, but you can't blame the refs on this. You can't blame the Chiefs for this. You can blame the teams that played the Chiefs that didn't outsmart them every time.
And so, listen, I agree with you on that. I feel like the Chiefs are always under the hater microscope, right? So people, whether it's a real, DPI or not, or, people still want to, oh, no, that wasn't a pass interference. No matter what it is, everyone believes, oh, it's a big scandal. The refs are on the Chiefs side, yada, yada, yada.
They are this era's New England Patriots, basically. Exactly.
And at the end of the day, at this point, you just got to give credit where it's due. Okay. They had a slow start last season. They got their shit together later in the season, and they became an unstoppable force going into the playoffs. They did their damage. They won a Super Bowl again, 2 in a row. It's not like they are coming from out of nowhere. And now they're just slaying teams. So everyone can put excuses in front of the board, but I feel like they're exactly where they're supposed to be. Obviously, not having Rashee Rice has hurt them a little bit, but they're still doing their thing, And so, Kelsey is starting to look good. He's starting to look like a player who cares again. I don't know if he does, but for me, I can't really say too much else negative about him. So I like where they're at right now as a team. I'm excited to watch them play. Now, I put a post out today asking people what you think. Can they go 17-0 and win a Super Bowl? Last time a team went 17-0, my New York Football Giants knocked them off their high horse and stopped that in the tracks, right? But this is not Tom Brady and the Patriots. This team is different. They're way more dynamic, I feel like. I think it's totally possible, but again, any given Sunday. So I'm going to say that they finish this season 13-4, but I do expect to see them back in the Super Bowl this year.
Correct. You have to correct yourself on that before you get ruined on that one. Can a team go 17-0 when it's that's the 1972 Dolphins? They're the only team to go 17-0 and win a Super Bowl. Patriots
and that's
went 18-1. They were 18-0 and then lost. They went 16-0 in the season. But there has been.
You're right. That's what I meant. 16-0 in the regular season. I said 17-0 because I'm thinking of the new amount of games that we have. When they were playing, it was still a 16-game format, you know. And so, but I'm saying, and they do that in the regular season, go undefeated. But right, if they go undefeated and win a Super Bowl, then obviously, you know, all those other playoff games are there too. Yeah. But thank you for correcting me on that. You are right. Yeah. What do you think, though? Is this something they can do? Do you see it happening?
No. It's because we also got to remember that we thought about the Patriots being 16-0, 17-0, 18-0 before 18-0, and it showed what happened. It was ego shut them down, a lot of things. We don't need a 16-0 team, 17-0 team, 19-0 team to win a Super Bowl to show credibility. Just win the Super Bowl. It doesn't matter if you go perfect.
I mean, and I think that they're a great example of that last year, right? The Chiefs didn't, you know, people were concerned about the Chiefs by midway in the season. And then, you know, by week 10, they just switched gears, right? Yeah. They figured themselves out. They got it together, you know, and that's, to me, that's more important. I like to see teams take losses because I like to see how people bounce back from taking it out, you know?
As I say it like this, regular season only matters just to make the playoffs. It's the playoffs that matter.
100%. You know, and I actually liked that they had to like really, you know, because they weren't the one seed in their conference, that they had to play every game. You know, they had to make it through every game in the playoffs. Yeah. You know, and I love that. You know, because any doubt by the end of that has to be gone, right? I mean, once you get to that level,
if you go with the Super Bowl last year, Patrick hurt his ankle, and everybody's like, "Oh, they lost it, and they still won it."
Listen, so my wife is a Raiders fan, as you know. I'm a Giants fan, but when it comes to the playoffs, Pat is what I call playoff Pat. He's an absolute legend in the playoffs already at this young age. He's already legendary in the playoffs. And when he gets there, I don't care. I gamble on Pat every time. I don't care who he's playing. If it's in the playoffs, I'm betting Pat and his team against anybody. That's just me. Unless, of course, they get the Super Bowl against the Giants, which I don't think we see that happening anytime soon. So,
and the only person to beat him in the Super Bowl is the GOAT.
You know? And he'll never be able to live that down because Tom Brady's not undefeated, right? So people will always say, well, Eli Manning was able to beat him in the Super Bowl, but Pat Mahomes wasn't, you know? Which, like, you just can't compare people. At the end of the day, like, everyone's different, and the eras. Tom was the end of an era, and Pat was the start of an era. You know what I mean?
And what did he do after he lost to Brady? He hasn't lost the Super Bowl since.
Exactly. You know, and that's because there's nobody else talented enough to beat the kid at the end of the day. And so week 5 results. You know, a lot of wins, a lot of losses, obviously. What stood out to you? Like, were there any games, any players? Was there anything that you were just like, hey, you know, like, what were your 2 biggest takeaways? What was your positive? What was your negative from week 5?
I'll say positive and negative is going to go with the Bears. The positive that Caleb actually showed up. Mm-hmm. And the negative is Bears and the fans going, oh, my God, Caleb Williams, they're believing in him. It's like you played the goddamn Panthers.
Yeah, well, so you know what? I can agree with that. They did play the Panthers, but I do feel like Caleb is starting to hit his stride. You know,
He has improved every week. I'll give him that. Every week.
And that, to me, for a rookie quarterback to just get better each week, right? Here's the thing. We have Jaden Daniels right now playing, we have Jaden playing for the Commanders, but Jaden looks like he's been in the league for 5 seasons.
He is a top 5 quarterback within the next 2 years, the way this kid's playing the game.
I 100% agree. And so, for me, that was the biggest takeaway from this week, the big positive. I agree with you. I think that the biggest positive for me was not – I picked a different one, but I agree. Caleb Williams and his weekly progress, he's gotten better every week. You can't expect more than that because what Jaden Daniels is doing is borderline unrealistic. He's on his way to a clear MVP award in his rookie year. I mean, that's what I see. I could see him taking Offensive Player of the Year and MVP if he continues the pace he's at. He's been so dynamic. He's got a pocket presence. He knows how to roll out. When he gets in trouble, he can shake it off. And his downfield perception, what he's seeing, he's not just looking in one way. And to me, that was the most exciting thing to see. I mean, he just keeps getting better, but he looks like a rock star from day one. And then, of course, I got to give my man Daniel Jones some respect because Danny has, for what it's worth, he's a giant. Let me go grab my daughter. Give me 1 second, guys. She's awake. Hey, baby girl, you want to come sit with Daddy? Let's do it. All right. So we got my little girl here now. Say hello to the crowd, baby. Let's see if we can get her on camera there. There you go, girl. Right. And so I had to give Danny, because you know what? They're doing the comparison, his numbers are comparable to Aaron Rodgers. But you know what? I don't think Aaron Rodgers has looked good for Aaron Rodgers. He's looked mid. But the consistency, win or loss, that I've seen out of the Giants for the last 3 weeks straight, it just offensively, I think it's exciting. I feel like they are starting to hit some gears, and I'm excited for the rest of the season, even though we're 2-3, because I feel like that our record could be different, for a couple of plays. And obviously no ifs, ands, or buts, but I'm excited to see them. And then the other thing, I think on the negative side for me, it's got to be the San Francisco 49ers. I'm shocked. They were the top team in that division, in that conference for the last few years, and they're in shambles. Now, obviously, they've had some key injuries, and when you have a guy like CMC coming out of the backfield, it absolutely changes what a defensive scheme is going to look like, right? So they've been able to play a lot tougher with them up front, and have a lot more activity from linebackers behind the line, because they're not floating around in the midfield to see what CMC is going to do, and I think that's huge. Don't get me wrong. Mason has been pretty good. He's been a great replacement for him. Not even pretty good, but he's a different animal. When you have Christian McCaffrey's out there, it just, you already know what it is. So for me, they're kind of like the bad side of it. I would love to see them get it together. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. I guess we're going to see what happens. We got Debo back. I don't know what the status is. Do you see CMC coming back and playing in this season?
Maybe late, if anything.
At this point, I feel like if they can't make themselves a playoff contender without him, they're not going to risk bringing him back. Because it's just you already know what it is. It's tendinitis. You do not right. Once you get tennis elbow, you always have tennis elbow. It's just how bad it is, right? Tendinitis doesn't go away. It progresses over years, right? And so to me, I don't know. I don't know what I see, but I don't see CMC playing in this season at the pace we're going right now.
Yeah.
What do you think? No? Yes, no?
No. It's just the Niners were a Super Bowl champion 2 seasons ago, and they're not the same as what they were 2 seasons ago.
Yeah, it's a different animal. All right, and so moving on to week 6. Week 6. So actually, and I think this is an important one again so this game's going to be in London, the Bears in Jacksonville. Last time I saw Jacksonville play in London, they were pretty comfortable last season.
Jacksonville is London. London is their second home.
Yeah, and you know what I mean? They seem to do well there. So for me, I need to see Caleb have those same strides, progress a little bit more, and it's important for the Bears, I think, more than a lot of teams, to pull away with a W this week in London.
Mm-hmm.
That's like my big one for the week. Is there any game that like you've got a spotlight on for this week?
Commanders and Ravens.
I was looking at that game as you were saying it. Like, what do you think happens there?
Does Caleb show up? I mean, not Caleb, sorry. Jaden. Does Jaden show up and show what kind of caliber of quarterback he is against Lamar?
I mean, for me, it's just got to be a yes. Like, he hasn't done anything yet to make me feel like he's not going to show up. Like at this point, I'm looking at it and I'm saying, is Lamar going to show up and quiet down this rookie quarterback?
Yeah.
That's the way I'm looking at it. I expect Jaden to be there. My question is, what Lamar do we get? Like that's for me, that's kind of the big piece. And that defense is supposed to be pretty tough. They're supposed to be pretty tough, those Ravens. Can they stop the scoring machine that has become the Washington Commanders? Mm-hmm. And that for me, I can agree with that. Are there any games this week where you're just like, I would rather not watch football?
Colts Titans.
Okay. That's a good one. Do we know who is the Titans starting quarterback supposed to be this week?
Will Levis? I don't know. Jesus, I have no idea.
To me, that's got to be a concern. So, guys, real quick, I just want to give a quick shout out to one of our sponsors. You guys should check out his articles too. Uncle Joe, the Black Bookie. You can actually see his stuff on the blackbookie.com and on the WeLikeSportsPC.com on our local blog. What you can actually do is pop in there every Sunday. And when you're there, you can check out the Sunday Snooze You Lose pick. He's always got a great free pick there for any bettors, right? And, of course, if you're into sports betting, then we also have another great sponsor, MyBookie at MyBookie.com. If you use the promo code SPORTS with a Z, they will match your bets up to $1,000. So, I know sports betting's become huge in the U.S. I know a lot of our viewers love to watch it, So definitely get a look at that, guys. That is a great one. Now, kind of just back to things this week, week 6. The game for me that, and it's unfortunate to say this, but the game for me that like I really am like I'm scared to watch is the Pittsburgh Steelers at Las Vegas.
That was my other. That was the sneaky one I had coming up, was that Steelers Raiders.
The only way at this point that Antonio Pierce and the coaching staff, the whole team really saves face is, you can lose the game, but you can't get shellacked like you did last week. You can't. And that was against Denver. So, what's going to happen when they're playing arguably the best defense in football right now in the Pittsburgh Steelers? Real concern for me right there. So, like, that one, I don't know if I want to watch that. I don't have a choice. My wife's a fan, so I'm going to watch it. But my goodness, I'm nervous to turn on the TV for that one. Tell you what. All right, guys. Oh my God, hold on. I got to get my charger. My computer's going to die.
Oh, jeez. Can't have that mid-show.
Mid-show. This is what you call being a new dad unpreparedness. It happens to the best of us. Love you guys for still tuning in. But, I think now it's important that we switch gears because, at least for me, and I know for Cove, there's something more important going on in October than the NFL. That is the MLB postseason. and just, it's been too awesome to not be excited about, I think we got a game on right now. I believe the NLDS is on right now with the New York Mets going head to head with the Phillies. The last I saw, and I'm looking back right now, I'm going to pull the game up. Okay, it's the bottom of the fifth. Oh, wow. Pete Alonso, started him off with the nice little home run, a solo shot. Pete Alonso's been clutch for them. It's 2-0 right now. Do you think the Mets can pull out and get a 2-1 lead against the Phillies? Game's already halfway through.
It's quite possible. I mean, it's not surprising. Now, you look in the last 24 hours, the Tigers won. KC won. Mets are winning.
And we saw the last San Diego outing. San Diego literally destroyed the team that was everyone's favorite, the most expensive team in baseball, the most expensive player in baseball. San Diego smoked them out. Right?
You see that? They were trying to subtle friggin', Shohei's 3 batters away. Like, really? The biggest glow up ever? Because nobody else gets that treatment.
And that's kind of sad, right? Like, I don't know. I mean, they're a great team, right? They have a lot of talent, but the reality is we saw a stat this week, right? In the last 3 postseasons combined, Mookie Betts is something like 3 for 41, which is, listen, he did well in postseasons in the past, when he was a Red Sox. But as a Dodger, his postseasons have been trash. And you got Freeman. Freeman's got stuff going on off the field, that probably take away from where his mind is. Mookie just isn't producing. Can Shohei put this team on his back and lead them to a World Series?
We'll have to see tonight, because the rumor is the National Guard's going to show up and make sure that no Padre gets hit or no player gets hit.
It's kind of crazy that these are even concerns, but this is where we live, or this is where I live in America now. Things get a little crazy sometimes. So, but I'm definitely like, this is just, for me, it's been an awesome playoff. I'm a Yankees fan. The bats just weren't there yesterday, which is unfortunate. We definitely got to show up if we're going to win this series, because, Kansas City just, they're hitting the ball. They're playing small ball well, and they're playing really good defense. So, for the Yankees to be successful, we need the middle of that lineup. We need that 2-4-5 to be hitting any and everything. No 2 ways about it.
Last night, if KC didn't lose that game, because KC had the lead before New York did in game 1, KC could be up 2-0, and this could be the last. We could not see another. The Yankees could be out.
Yeah, I mean, the Yankees got tomorrow to get back on top. Hopefully they will. It's hard to say. We never know. But, I mean, as a Yankees fan, I'm as excited as I can be about this. But, again, and we've talked about this before, Yankees fans talk about this at length. Where is Aaron Judge?
No, I don't know if you know about this, but that's the MVP curse. If you notice what Shohei's hitting and what Aaron Judge is hitting, they're like 1 for 20 right now. And they say it's the MVP curse. Every playoffs, both MVPs can't hit the ball.
I mean, listen, and people have said Soho could be doing more, but Soho is getting on the base. You know what I mean? He's getting hits, but if he gets on base, we need that big bat coming up after him to get him off base. And that's what we're not seeing, right? That the position's called cleanup.
Yeah.
We need somebody to do that.
Why can me, kind of overweight 42-year-old male, run faster to first base than Juan Carlos Stanton?
Listen.
I know you're a Yankees fan, but
we got him for the power in his bat, not for the speed in his legs. That's all I'm going to say on that.
Oh, that dude can't run. But I'll say I don't want to really reference it in this way, but okay. I'll put two parts here that I kind of laughed because I had Yankees fans with me last night doing my side thing. But Carlos Rondon, former White Sox. Then you have Tommy Pham, former White Sox, and they lost the lead. They were up down 4-1. And then Ian Hamilton, a former White Sox, gave up a run. 3 former White Sox were involved in that 4-run inning.
And listen, I think that when you, right now, here's what's crazy about that. When you look at their record from last season and you look at how the team was playing with these guys in the locker room, it's like, you can just tell that the culture on the team, on the White Sox, is just got to be in the wrong place because these guys are leaving and they're becoming production machines when it counts for other teams. Right. And so we know, this, right? They arguably the best, and I mean, and this isn't coming from me. This is coming from actual MLB writers, people who are all about, Major League Baseball. One of the best prospecting and, minor league systems is the White Sox. Mm-hmm. But what does the management keep doing? What does senior leadership keep doing? They develop people and send them elsewhere. So what do we got to do there? Something's got to change in the White Sox culture. They've got to start, caring about where that team's going. But that I feel like they don't.
We develop the players and send them somewhere else. That's what we do.
And I get it. It's an easy way to make money. But what else is an easy way to make money? Winning games.
But the side part of the Yankees game last night, and I will watch my language about it, but I am utterly disgusted in Yankees fans on what they did to Carlos Rondon's wife just because they lost that game. You didn't hear?
No, what happened?
They went on her Instagram and said they were going to K her and are his children.
Okay, so listen, and I don't think that the Yankees are the worst of the fans, but I'm a father, I'm a husband, you're a father. Just that kind of stuff, just to me, it can't be tolerated. It's gross, it's disgusting. As a fan base, we got to do better, period. Yeah, the Yankees already have the Yankees fan base has such a terrible reputation. We're up there with teams like the Eagles fan base, just everyone hates them.
But it's still disgusting. People are disgusting when they do that. It's a sports event. Don't let it get you that bad.
It's a sports event that you're not playing in. You're just watching. How could you get that upset? You know what I mean? It's just it's unfortunate, and again, to any Yankees fans out there, I hope you guys are saying the same thing on your socials, but that stuff just shouldn't be tolerated. It's gross. It's not the way to do it. What's up, baby? You all right? My little girl's getting a little jammed up over here. It happens to the best of us. Yeah. You good today, baby? But, for me,
go after the show and whatnot, just go back on our chat and go up a little bit. Someone share it and you'll see the actual messages and you'll feel disgusted. Someone started it and sent it to the chat. It's disgusting.
It's really unfortunate. It makes everybody look bad. I mean, literally, there are people out there that hear me say I'm a Yankees fan, and just because of that, they're like, I wonder if he's okay with this kind of stuff, and it's just it's not right. I mean, if somebody even I don't even know how I would react if someone even said something like that about my wife or daughter, but they would want to be very far away from me. I know that, so to me, it's just ridiculous. It's unfortunate. And in a lot of ways, I mean, so you see what's gone on this year. I mean, fights in the, an NFL game, and this is in the state of California, right? You got teams you have people that are on the same, you guys are all from the same state, you're all Americans. You're literally getting drunk and trying to beat the crap out of each other over football teams. What?
Been legit stabbings, fightings. There's been more fights this year. I don't know if it's because social media has been different the last 5-10 years, but we see more fights, stabbings, deaths over a goddamn sports game.
And you know what? It's a combination of things.
It's
People
alcohol for one. Alcohol.
I mean, of course, alcohol. Like, listen, you and I don't drink, so it's easy for us to say. And unfortunately, like, if you find yourself as a grown man drinking alcohol and you're 40, 35, 30, 20, I don't care if you're 20, and the first thing that you feel like you need to do is go punch somebody in the face, go get help. Stop drinking, find recovery. There are better ways to life than doing that. There are what, in European football, soccer, right? They've been calling the English hooligans forever, and they get into fights and they get crazy. And we used to laugh about it as Americans. Now the rest of the world watches our games and they laugh about it. People getting knocked out in the stands, people getting really hurt, and that's not okay. I mean, over a sporting event, it's just not okay. It's a sad place. It is.
And it's not just a sporting event. It's in general, in public, going clubbing, anything. And I work in a hospital and I see these people coming in from these things like this. It's absolutely disgusting to watch human beings fight for their lives or have to get themselves fixed up because of ego or because, and a lot of times it's alcohol and drug induced.
And you know what? Like, there was a time when I was dialed back 16 years ago, 17 years ago, my early 20s, I would get drunk and I would get into fights and everything else, and I'm glad I found my way because that's just, it's not okay. It's not acceptable. Like, and as people that are talking about sports, it's sad that we even have to address this stuff. But like, unfortunately, you got to let everyone know where you stand on these issues because, it's just unfortunate. Right. So we have San Diego and Los Angeles playing tonight. And as you said, there's a chance that the National Guard is going to be at the game just to keep people in order. I mean, we shouldn't need that. That shouldn't be part of the game. Need that. Like, America's pastime should never boil down to that. I get it. Like, you don't like somebody, whatever, but you don't know these people. You've probably never seen this guy a day in your life. He's just wearing a different jersey, So to me, it's like, it's just not something you can, like, I can condone. It's not okay. But let's talk a little bit about this game. Let's see. I'm trying to pull it up here. I want to see. So the probable pitching tonight, we got Michael King, and King's been great.
Oh, King. 12. Do you know, well, you used to have him as a Yankee, but do you know he has 7 different types of pitches? How unheard of that is to have 7 controlled pitches?
Especially in this day and age. Like, you used to see that back in the day, but nowadays.
5 is asking too much, but 7?
I mean, the guy he's had what? I think he's had 12. Okay, so he's 1-0 in the playoffs, 7 innings pitched. He had 12 Ks in that game.
He's on playoff mode. He's in playoff mode right now.
And so what's Buehler going to bring to the table tonight really is the question.
Yeah.
That's how I look at it. That's really, to me, that's the big thing. Is Ohtani going to show up? Is Ohtani going to be able to hit King today at all?
I think so. Ohtani likes to hit good pitching.
Okay, you know what?
Good pitching.
I can give you that. I mean, listen, at the end of the day, like, I'm a baseball fan like anybody else. This guy's been super exciting for the sport. I would like to see him go out there and put some damage on. But I'm more confident that Tatis and Machado for the Padres are going to be doing some damage.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about it, at least.
I'll give Shohei one thing. That kid is a monster. When he hits a ball, he hits a ball. He is a goddamn freak when he hits that ball.
There's no arguing that. I don't give him enough credit, and that's just because I'm a New York guy and I'm a hater. So, I talk my trash, but he's been exceptional. I
seen a clip of a guy watching. He's, oh, Shohei, oh, Shohei, oh, Shohei. you think you're such a bam, and he just shut up real quick, and he was like, God damn, that's a home run. It's exciting.
That's how he's giving it up, man. And if he was to get hot during this series,
Yeah,
it could potentially,
oh God,
yeah. And that's the thing. Like, if they get to playoff Shohei, it's going to be a different level. Yeah. We just haven't seen it yet. Hey, Drooly Pants, you all right over there?
This is what you want to see with Aaron Judge. Hopefully, we see that too.
Let me ask, what's your prediction for the game tonight?
I think San Diego is on paper one of the nastiest teams in the NL, and you really got to show them up. You got to take one at home. You got to take one from their home, because if you don't, you lost this series.
I mean, listen, Tatis is batting .643 in the playoffs.
14. He's just on a different level. Former White Sox.
Playoff Nando is killing it, man. Yo, I'll tell you what. I wanted the Yankees to go out and try and get this guy, but I was very happy with Soto too. I'd like to see him in a Yankees jersey one day, though. I'm not going to lie. He looks like he's got that Yankee swagger too. But he does look like he's primed to lead his team to an ALCS. That much is for sure. And if Buehler can't curb the bat on Tatis, then they're going to be in some real trouble tonight.
Mm-hmm. But on a side note on that Yankee series, before the series started, I was joking. It was only a joke. I was like, watch out for Tommy Pham.
Listen, I was there for it. You know what? But listen, you know what? At the end of the day, this is baseball, and it's what makes it exciting. Yeah. I would love to see the Yankees win. I'm 41, so I'm lucky enough. Like, I grew up watching the Yankees kill it, and so it's not a terrible thing. And I like to see a good series. I'm never against watching my team win in 5 games. Yeah. I wanted to see them knock it out tomorrow, but now the series is tied 1-1. So now I just want to see us get ahead. That's what's important at this point. I want to see us get ahead, and I'm fairly confident we can. It looks like the bottom of the 6th is starting. So just for anyone who's not tuned in, the New York Mets are up 2-0 in the bottom of the 6th. And, they're kind of just keeping the roll going. I mean, the Mets are really like the Mets. So the National League for me has been like, they have the 2 hottest teams, I feel like, in the Mets and the Padres. Mm-hmm. They've just made for some really exciting baseball, and my best friend, my brother in life, is a Phillies fan. He might be watching this right now. TJ, I'm sorry if you see this, but I'm expecting to see the Mets close this game out today and take a commanding lead in this series. I am.
But on the AL side, the goddamn Tigers. Oh, my God.
And so this is my thing, right, with the Tigers. They really so we know that when Scuball gets on the mound, it's over. We know that, right? But beyond that, did you see the way that they took Class A to business? The best closer in the league got taken to business yesterday. He didn't know what to do.
Crushed that in the 9th inning, and then we watched Ibanez eliminate the Astros. It was like, oh my God, this Tigers team is for real. People might be like, no, they're not no, they are for real.
So my biggest concern
of making the playoffs, and they took out the Astros, and they could have a chance of taking out the Guardians.
So my biggest concern, honestly, for them is when they do their makeshift pitching, mm-hmm. right? When they do this makeshift pitching and they have 4 and 5 pitchers in, before we get through 6 innings, they don't fare as good as they should. And Cleveland, Cleveland's not the team to mess with, No. So I expect to see that series go to 5 games, which I'm excited for. But I think the Tigers are going to win.
Yeah. Well, I expect every team in this DS to go 5.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think that's fair. Who do you see coming out of the NLDS, and who do you see coming out of the ALDS?
I know people hate me for saying Tigers, KC. Just long shots.
Listen,
and you got Mets, Padres, right?
I can see it. I think it's going to be the Mets. The way the Mets are playing right now, I think it's going to be the Mets and the Padres myself on the NL side. As a Yankee fan, I really want to believe that we're going to get out and it's going to be us against the Tigers. I want to watch the Yankees against Scuba, and I want to see if they can change anything. I want to see if they can put some bats to balls,
I mean, a lot of people want Mets and Yankees to get through so we get another Subway Series for the first time in 24 years.
Oh, that would be tremendous. That would be absolute, literally, that would be everything my little heart desires.
But Mets, Tigers, Mets, Royals, like a 1980s World Series would be amazing too.
Honestly, for what's now happened and what's left there, there's pretty much no matchup I wouldn't be excited for. Yeah. But again, we're MLB fans like that, so of course, they all sound great. They do, and I would not be even as a Yankees fan,
Dodgers, Yankees.
Bobby Witt grew on me the way Bobby Witt Jr. has grown on me this season. I would absolutely love to see him make a run.
Yeah.
He deserves it. He deserves it.
I mean, ultimately, people want to see AL MVP versus NL MVP, Shohei versus Judge.
That's a fact. And, I just wanted to give a shout out. Looks like a couple of, my guy Carlos and the Mafia Members podcast both chimed in. And Mafia Members, it is sad to see what's been going on in sports. I'm glad you agree with our discussion before because, it's not right and it should never happen. But so now with this playoff, for me, probably the most exciting outcome I could imagine. And obviously, I would love a Subway Series, but realistically, I think the most exciting World Series would be the San Diego Padres against the Kansas City Royals.
Mm-hmm.
It would be dynamite. It would just be dynamite.
That is actually my prediction for the World Series is San Diego versus KC.
Mine was the Phillies and the Yanks. The Phillies, here's the thing about the Phillies. It's the 6th inning right now, but they are a team that's just so good that they could just turn it on in the 8th inning and win this game. And we know that. And that's baseball. So
there's
I'm not
no lead in sports and when it comes to baseball playoffs.
Yeah, listen, the way that I've seen teams turn it around, I fully believe it, And so for me, I'm not counting anyone out at this point. Realistically, there's a very good chance that the Phillies and the Dodgers meet, even though they're not there yet. But the Padres and the Mets in the NLCS would just be awesome. Awesome baseball.
Yeah, like I said, let's get back to 1980 baseball. Tigers, Royals, Mets, Phillies. Just be a weird 1980 fix. Retro baseball all over again.
I feel like for obvious reasons, the league wants to see teams like the Yankees and the Dodgers there because they're going to get the biggest ratings, the most viewership, and everything else. But at the same time, here's my thing is just how do you build baseball everywhere else and make it better, right? When you have these San Diego, KC type games, it turns into a whole different level. Hold on, I got to get another bottle here, guys. My little daughter's going off today. I'm still listening, though.
Yeah.
And so, Cove, we got about 10, 15 minutes left here. The next thing I did want to get into was hockey. It's that time of year. You're a Canadian. What are you excited about this hockey season?
I'll do a weird spin on this. Now, I don't know if you've noticed this one. I'll give you 2 parts to it. I'll do the first part real quick, second part even quicker. But first part is Amazon Prime has a new thing that we've never seen before. Monday Night Hockey and Thursday Night Coast to Coast via Prime. That's going to be interesting to see.
I like Prime for sports personally, but I'm also a Prime user, so I do enjoy that.
But
this
Monday
hockey
night
season,
hockey is weird to me.
but I like it. I don't know. Here's my thing. It's tough because obviously you have Monday Night Football, and nobody has ever had the audacity to go against the NFL because the NFL is just a ratings killer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're going to get ratings every time. But I think it's going to be really interesting to see. And this is going to be a real test and kind of a measurement of how NHL has kind of bounced back over the last 15 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If they can really do their thing during that time of year, during Monday
part is there's a new league that's supposed to start real soon. It's called the MHL, and it's supposed to have 16 teams, and it's 3v3 hockey that includes women.
Okay, so I don't want to sound the wrong way when I say this, guys. So don't think I'm in any way against women in sports.
Here we go. Yes,
I am not. But hockey is an extremely physical sport, and the physicality of men and the physicality of women is not the same. There are instances that it is, but when you have, let's just say there's an MHL guy who didn't quite make it to the NHL, but he's a known bruiser.
Mm-hmm.
And you have a female forward trying to get by him.
Yeah.
The rules say that he can just plant her.
Yeah.
And then what's going to happen? Are people going to complain? Is everyone going to be okay with that? For me, women and men, should compete in their respective leagues. And I would be totally down to watch a women's NHL because quite frankly,
we do have that though. The PWHL, we do have a women's league though. We do have one.
And so, that would be cool. You've seen what the WNBA looks like this season. If you go to Europe, every single major soccer or football club, right, has a female counterpart. Real Madrid has Real Madrid women's. Barca, same thing. There are the Arsenal Women's Club, and they're fantastic. They're fantastic for sports. We just saw how the WNBAs look so far. By the way, shout out to the New York Liberty to continue crushing it in the playoffs. They've done awesome. And they left their yellow Tims. As a New Yorker, you know what I'm talking about. They left them in the middle of the court after they knocked out the Aces. I love that for New York. But I love female sports. I love to watch women. I watch women's boxing all the time. One of the fights I'm most excited about this fall is Amanda Serrano against Katie Taylor too. That's classic boxing. I don't want to see in a physical, maybe in golf, in things that are not contact, but to make it a contact issue between men and women, I don't see that as fair, and I don't see that as okay.
No, but the other part of the MHL is the interesting part is it's kind of like arena football and other leagues and whatever. People that don't come from the NCAA and universities that don't make NHL, it's a league for them. So I like that aspect. It gives people a chance to play in a pro league when they couldn't make the pro league.
Think about what's this guy? The basketball, the 3-on-3 league that Ice Cube started, right? You get really talented guys. You get older, washed up guys who used to play in the league come and play. You get younger guys who didn't make it to the league. They come out and play. And so it becomes very exciting. I like the 3-on-3 idea for the NHL or MHL, excuse me. I just, again, I think about a big 6'3", 260-pound male defenseman, on skates, barreling down on a female forward. And I'm like, they would crush me.
We'll use an old school name. Could you imagine a player like Scott Stevens just lining up people?
And you know what? And that's so it's funny. You said Stevens. I'm an Islanders guy. I'm picturing Zdeno Chara putting a female through the glass.
Mm-hmm.
What? That's wild. You know what I'm saying? To me, that's a little too hectic. Good job, baby. All right, you gonna sit up now and hang out with Daddy?
But the first thing is we got to give it a chance and see what happens and see how they prospectively do it. It
Listen,
might work.
I'm down for everything. I'll watch it first before I make my judgment. But
Yeah.
when I hear it on paper, it sounds crazy.
Yes.
That's the only way I can say that,
But it doesn't mean, but the fairness is the female athlete might not be a forward. She could be a goalie. So doesn't mean that she might get hit. It might be a goalie. Like Manal, she played in the preseason in Tampa Bay in like 1990s. There is some phenomenal female goalies. So, or put her on defense. Like, doesn't mean they're always going to get hit. But, I mean, you just got to see what happens with it.
I just wanted to point out real quick, just going back to baseball for a second here, the Mets have the bases loaded, and it's only 1 out. Just for anybody who's listening, the Mets are red hot right now. So listen, right? There is a hockey game going on right now. When I looked before, the Kraken were up 2-0. Then I just went back to look at the game. Now it's the third, and St. Louis Blues have put 3 on the board. So
that's the unwritten 2-0 lead is not the safest lead in hockey.
No, I mean, you got to put 5 on the board these days because teams just score, and it's hockey goalies have gotten bigger, more athletic, I mean, they can move. They're unbelievable. Some of these guys, we saw, what they called a few years ago, the Bobbery, right? Bobrovsky, one of the craziest saves I've ever seen. Yeah. Hockey, but with the way that these guys are pushing the pace on the ice now, I mean, you just got to keep scoring. 2-0 in the middle of the second is not going to win you a game. And unfortunately, now the Kraken find themselves behind. So, there's that. But you know what? I'm excited to see hockey season's back. It looks like we got another game starting here in a couple minutes. The Boston Bruins and the Florida Panthers. That should be exciting. Mm-hmm. And we've got the inaugural game of the Utah Hockey Club at 7 p.m. tonight against Chicago.
Now, the only thing I'll add to the NHL thing is, and you'll see my hate in this, but when they talk about expansion, I hate Gary Bettman with a goddamn fucking passion because he said there's 4 teams he's thinking about, 4 locations. I understand Houston. They haven't had a team. I get that. They will not put Quebec on there. That's the biggest insult I've ever seen. But they've re-talked about putting a team in Arizona again. Why? 29 of 30 years you were pillaging the league. And Atlanta, for the 3rd time, is possibly getting another expansion.
So we were talking a little bit about that. Listen, America can get on board with any sport anywhere. I don't see Atlanta as a hockey town.
No.
Houston's a big time sports town. So I kind of like that for Houston. But again, like what you just touched on, Quebec, and they cite reasons like population size, the proximity of how long it would take, all this kind of stuff they keep talking about. But we went over this, right? Yeah. To get to an Ottawa Senators game, you got to drive 30, 40 minutes out of Ottawa to get to the game. It isn't like it's a convenience where Quebec has a brand new NHL level. They built for their minors stadium or arena, in the middle of downtown Quebec City. Yeah. So I feel like there is some kind of just hate going on there. I'm going to have to touch my boy, Vegas Hockey Freak. And of course, Boston Cashews 5 on X. I'm going to have to talk a little bit about with those guys about it because they're my hockey guys and they know a little bit more about this stuff than me. But to me, it just seems like to say no to a team in Canada, like Canada's the home of hockey, period, end of discussion. Like it doesn't make sense. I don't get it. I don't think it's right. And I would love to see that. I would love to see a Nordiques running around out there again. That would be awesome.
Yeah, when you put a team in Utah, nothing against Utah, because they weren't NHL ready, but they had an arena ready. But Quebec's had an arena ready for 2 or 3 years, and it doesn't even cost anything to get that team. You just put a team there; it's NHL ready.
Listen, I'm on board with it. It's unfortunate. Obviously, the NHL commissioner is not. A lot of hockey fans, especially the Canadian lot, do not like this guy very much for obvious reasons. To see the NHL expand by 4 teams and none of them be in Canada, that's a little hectic. Even if it wasn't there, I feel like if you're going to add 4 teams, one of them should be Canadian.
Yeah, but that's the thing. They even said that even if the league, it's got to be on the east side. That's Quebec. It's still Quebec.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense, And so listen, guys, I just realized it is 4:00. It's time to get back to being a father and all that good stuff. I did want to give a quick shout out to our other sponsor, Dubby. Again, if you're into working out, if you like to work out with the pre-workout but not have the jitters, because we know that's a big thing these days, Dubby is a great product for it, and you can get a 10% discount by using the We Like Sports with a Z promo code on their website, Dubby.com. So definitely check that out, guys. Again, as always, my boy Cove, I want to say thank you for touching base with me today and for having a great chat on the big sports. We'll touch base. You're going to have a space going, I'm sure, later for the game.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll be there. Rock and roll, guys. And everybody, again, thanks for showing up today. We love you guys. And peace out from Vinny's Corner. If only I knew how to end the stream.